Christian Bale back as Batman, Christopher Nolan behind the camera again, and David S. Goyer writing another Dark Knight story? It sounds crazy. But a recent article suggests that with the potential sale of DC, this once impossible idea may not be so far-fetched. So today, let's break down what Goyer actually said, Bale's conditions for returning, and whether the Dark Knight trilogy could really rise again. But before we get started, as always, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on future uploads. Now first, let's set the stage. Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is still regarded as one of the greatest superhero sagas ever made. From the gritty Batman Begins, to Heath Ledger's legendary Joker in The Dark Knight, to the divisive but ambitious Dark Knight Rises, this trilogy gave Bruce Wayne a complete arc, ending with him passing the mantle to John Blake and finding peace in Florence with Catwoman. Nolan has always said that was the conclusion, a definitive ending. No post-credit teases, no sequel setups, just closure. But here's where it gets interesting. In a recent interview, trilogy co-writer David S. Goyer admitted that he would, quote, 100% consider returning for another Batman movie, but only if Christopher Nolan had an idea worth pursuing. Goyer was clear. Without Nolan, there's no point. And guess what? Christian Bale has said basically the same thing. He'd only suit up again if Nolan came back with a vision. So, in theory, the holy trinity of Nolan, Bale, and Goyer could return, but only under very specific conditions. Now, the problem is, where do you go after The Dark Knight Rises? Goyer himself admitted that making another entry would be a massive gamble, because the ending was designed as final. Bruce found peace. Alfred got his closure. To undo that risks cheapening the entire trilogy. Fans love it because it ended. Bringing it back would mean either retconning that finale, or jumping decades forward into something like a Kingdom Come style, older Bruce Wayne story, or maybe even a Batman Beyond trilogy that fans have also been begging for, where Bale's Batman can be the one training Terry McGinnis to take over the mantle. So, why is this even being talked about now? Because Warner Bros. Discovery is rumored to be selling off DC Entertainment, and if a new owner steps in, say Universal, Apple, Netflix, or even Amazon, they'll want massive wins right out of the gate. And what's the safest bet? Reviving a proven billion-dollar IP. That's why some fans think a buyer might tempt Nolan and Bale back with creative freedom and a blank check. But let's not forget, DC is also pushing forward with James Gunn's DCU. Would a Nolanverse return clash with those plans, or could it exist as a standalone Elseworlds project, like The Batman with Robert Pattinson? Personally, I feel that with the current state of comic book movies as a whole, it's best to just have multiple projects going on at once, and have the fans pick and choose which ones they want to consume, without having to worry about continuity, as that could back you into a corner and give less creative freedom. Which is why my skin crawls every time James Gunn mentions tying DC games to the DCU. Fan reactions are split. Some people are thrilled at the idea of Bale donning the cowl again, especially if it's a one-off older Batman story. Others say the trilogy's ending should be left untouched, that Nolan's Batman already has the perfect send-off. Personally, I think if Nolan himself had a truly new take, something bold, something different, audiences would show up in droves. But if it's just a cash grab, it could backfire hard. So here's the bottom line. Nolan, Bale, and Goyer aren't against returning. They're just waiting for the right idea. The DC sale could create that opportunity, but it's still a long shot. For now, the Dark Knight trilogy remains untouched. But in Hollywood, never say never. But now, I want to hear from you. Would you want to see Christian Bale back as Batman under Nolan's direction? Or should The Dark Knight Rises remain the final word? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, please remember to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And until next time, I'm the 1ELT signing OUT out.